Rank and Rent SEO. It is probably one of the oldest SEO strategies that has ever existed, but yet people still constantly search for it and still want to learn about it. And the main reason is because it is very effective, hyper beginner friendly, and honestly has little to no risk. And so in this free Rank and Rent SEO course, I want to go over everything. I want to go over your keyword research, choosing the right niches, going over how much to charge, how much not to charge, how to do the actual SEO to rank the site on top of Google, and also give you some case studies of when I used to do Rank and Rent. And quick spoiler, just with this one site in the plastic surgery niche, we made over $40,000. And so again, I want to go over every single thing so that after you watch this video all the way through, you have all the tools you need to succeed in the Rank and Rent space. In specific, you have all the tools you need to take a new site, rank it on top of Google for multiple keywords, and then rent out that site to local businesses in your area. By renting, I mean either they pay you a monthly fee or you sell them calls. But again, we'll dive into all this in the video. So with that being said, let me just jump straight into my computer so I can go over all this boring stuff step by step. So stick around, it's gonna be fun, and yeah, let's go. Okay, we're here, we have a lot to cover, so let's just get going. The Rank and Rent SEO with AI, the updated course for 2025. Now, first things first is proof, because I can yap about all this stuff all the time, but how can I teach something if I haven't really made money with it? Well, here's proof that I have. These are so I'm from Portugal. I used to do this for Portuguese clients, and here's the whole story. You can pause the video and read it because I won't read through it all. It's kind of boring. I might, who knows? But point being is that these are real revenue receipts, I guess we call these. I don't know how you call them in English. Like pay slips, I guess, 1,000 euros, 700 euros, 500 euros, 200 euros, 700 euros, 600. So these are all pay slips from these plastic surgery clinic, which was the client or the niche I started with by me sending them leads. Now, because you Rank and Rent, I'll go over what it is in specific, and there's ways to do it. But in essence, we're going to rank yours, and I'll go over this step by step, don't worry. You're going to rank your site first, and then you're either going to sell calls to the business, sell leads, or rent out your site's pages for a monthly retainer. For this client specific, I just sold them leads, okay? And as you can imagine, with a plastic surgery clinic, right, it's a very high ticket industry, right? I wouldn't do Rank and Rent for a florist or for a coffee shop, because the ticket, the price, the average, the AOV, the average order value is I don't know, $10, $15 maybe. With a plastic surgery, it's around 4, 5, 6K. And the good thing about plastic surgery, the good thing about this niche is that it's a very complex type of service, right? If I go and do a nose job, right, and it goes well, usually, and this is told to me by the surgeon, people who do cosmetic surgeries, they don't just do one-offs, right? They do multiple surgeries all throughout their life. Just like tattoos, right? When you do a tattoo, right, most likely you get more, right? Most people, okay? And so with surgery, if I do my nose, I might go and do, I don't know, put some fake tits, right? Who knows? And so because I'm sort of addicted to this, right? Well, if I went to this XYZ clinic and it went well, why would I find a new clinic? Well, I'll just go to that one because I know it's safe. I trust the people there, so I'm going to go there over and over again. So the lifetime value for these leads is insane. Not only is the ticket, the AOV, the average order value insanely high, but the LTV, the lifetime value, right, is out of this world. It's very high. Lawyers, dentists, right? So there you go. That's why I chose this niche. And I urge you that when you're choosing a niche, go for high ticket, okay? I think I made a video on this. If I have, I'll link it down below in the description. Go for high ticket stuff. Lawyers, health-related stuff, okay? Don't go for coffee shops. Don't go for electricians. I used to do plumbers as well, which was quite nice because there's a lot of lead flow, lead volume, right? For plastic surgery, there's not a lot of people doing it every single day. For a plumber, there's a lot of much more turnover. So you can make money both ways, okay? So now, with that intro out of the way, and the whole story right here, you can pause the video and you can screenshot this if you want to learn. I guess I'll run it through real quick, right? 40K extra revenue in 2019 with SEO alone. Ranked them first for a bunch of keywords like rhinoplasty Lisbon. Sorry, excuse me, not ranked them first. I ranked my own site because that's what Rank and Rent is about. You take your own site, you rank it, right, and then you rent it out because you own the asset. But again, more on that later on. Rhinoplasty Lisbon, Lisbon rhinoplasty price in Lisbon, breast augmentation. So a bunch of the surgeries names, prices, a bunch of keywords, right, and then the location, Lisbon, capital of Portugal, and yeah, there you go, right. And here's the proof of that. Now, again, let's dive deep into what is Rank and Rent. So You don't own a business. You do not own a business, right? What you do is you rank your site, right? You own the asset and then rent it out to businesses, right? And they will pay you if you're able to drive traffic to them. That's basically it. So your goal is to rank the other site higher, your site higher, keyword your, because you need the site is yours, higher on Google and get them leads. Here's a visual representation. Let's say your site, you buy the domain, you rank it first, and we'll go over how to do it, don't worry. You rank your site first on Google, boom, there you go, right? So use your site ranking first. And so what you do is you simply overlay, right? This is your client, right? Let's say this is a potential client, right? They rank 20th, okay? This is your site, this is their site. What you do is you take their site and overlay it on top of yours, right? So now, right, your site was ranking, and your site is still ranking number 1 because the domain is the same, but you just overlay their site on top of yours. And I'll show you a plugin that does this for WordPress that allows you to do all this. So just a click of a button. Actually, I'll show you right now. Why not? I'm going to play a clip right now on how this works, how the plugin works. But in essence, it allows you to overlay sites on top of yours. So play a clip. Let's say, for example, right here, I go to this, my WordPress site. It's just a test site. Don't worry about it, right? And let's say, for example, I go here, I search Plumber Dallas, and I scroll down to find, actually, let me just do Dallas, Lawyer Dallas, okay? And I scroll down to find one down here that's not getting a lot of clients because they're like ranking very, very, very down. I take my page right here. Let me just do, for example, this page. Let me just view what it is. Let's say, for example, this is my page. Don't worry about what's on here. Let's say this is my page about that ranks for a lawyer in Dallas, right? I go here. I just paste in the URL right here, right? In this, my Rank and Rent plugin. I hit publish, update. And now if I refresh the page right here, refresh it, their site is going to be overlaid on top. There you go. And it's interactive. I can click stuff, right? I can go through the menus, right? The only thing that doesn't change is the URL, right? The URL is mine, but their site is here. People can come in, they can schedule a call, they can click anywhere, like everything works, right? So what I did is just in a few seconds, literally using this plugin, in a few seconds, literally just overlaid these guys' sites on top of mine, right? I literally just did this in a few seconds. So now I can call them and say, hey, listen, I can say whatever I just said before. I can just say, hey, listen, guys, you mind searching for Lawyer Dallas on Google and click the first site? And so that's a impressive thing you can hook them on because they can see, oh, we're ranking first. Yeah, you guys are ranking first because I overlaid your site on top of mine, right? And that's like a conversation starter, right? So you can go that route too. There you go. It's pretty cool, right? And then, of course, you can, if the site has multiple pages, you can overlay individual other sites in each one of these pages. So if your site is ranking for multiple pages, so you can overlay different businesses in the same industry, so multiple plumbers, but for different locations, different cities, different countries, who knows, on these different pages. So this is the so-called multi-location rank and rent, but the premise is the same. You own the site, okay? You own the site, and then you overlay client site on top of yours. Now, of course, right, let's say, again, you overlay this guy's site on top of yours, right? By overlaying the site, right, you can't really track calls, meaning that people will just call their number right here. And so what you do with this method is you just rent it out, the page or the whole site, for a specific monthly retainer, okay? Now, if you choose not to overlay, right, a client site on top of yours, so yours is like this, add a proper team, make it look plumber-like, right? Create this fake brand, and then the phone number you have on the site, right, redirects to the phone number on their site. So then you can record the calls, of course, with consent, and you can track on a Google Sheets how many calls the business get. Boom, these got these calls this month. These are all answered. These weren't answered, right? So all these calls, let's say 100 leads, and then you figure out a number on how much these guys pay you per lead. Okay, so these are the two things you can do. So in terms of how much money you can make, well, it depends on what you do. Depends if you rent out the site as a whole. Depends if you have multiple location pages and you rent each one of these location pages to a different business, okay? Or depends on if you just don't overlay the site on top of yours, right? And you just have the phone number there and redirect it to their phone number, and then you track the calls in Google Sheets with Zapier. It's pretty easy to do. I mean, I guess you can set up a number with Callfire. That's what I used, callfire.com, right? They give you a phone number, right? A tool-free phone number where they can also schedule and track the calls and track how many people call from where, right? Then we're using Zapier, right? Connect Callfire with Zapier, right? And so when any person calls your Callfire number that's on your site, right, it will automatically go through Zapier, which Zapier allows you to basically connect two apps. You connect Callfire with Google Sheets. So every single time a call gets called from that qualifier number, right? It's logged into Google Sheets. So now you have these Google Sheets that you can share with the business, right? So they can see, okay, this week 100 people called, right? Pay us however much you wanted to pay us for lead. Now the price per lead, well, you gotta speak with them, but of course it will vary. For a plumber, it's gonna be a bit lower than, for example, for a plastic surgeon, because the ticket for the plastic surgeon is much higher. Okay. That being said, plumbers, at least here in Portugal, are willing to pay. I've seen values of upwards of 200 per lead, or I'll say 80 to $200 per lead, euros, dollars, well, that's the same thing per lead. So they'll happily pay, because of course they know that there's also a lifetime value, right? When someone calls a plumber and it goes well, most likely if they have another issue, they'll call the same one. Okay, so there's lifetime value in the client. So again, I can't say for sure the number, because you have to speak with them and see which one is best. If you don't want to worry about that, just overlay their site on top of yours and just charge them a monthly retainer. It's quite easy. You don't have to track the calls, etc. It's easier like that. You can do both ways. Now, how much money I made with Rank and Rent SEO? Well, again, you saw it before. This is the whole story right here, and this is the proof. I don't think they're all here, honestly. I think there's a lot missing, a lot of them missing, but these are just the pay slips in Portuguese for the tax man to check. This was a while ago. Again, a bit of a important thing here is that at least I like to meet my clients. So when I was doing this, right, I called up all the clinics, and we'll talk about this right here on how to get clients. I guess we can start talking about it right now, because we've talked about this before, the multi-location rank and rent. It's just rank and rent, just targeting multiple locations, because if you have location pages on your site, you can just rent them out individually to businesses targeting multiple locations. It's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, just drop them down below in the comments. I'll get to them. But how do you get rank and rent clients? Well, it's pretty simple. It's hard, but it's simple. Simple, not easy, I guess. So let's say you have a site, and again, we'll go over how to do it, but let's assume you have it all set up, right? Okay, you have you're in the plastic surgery niche. Well, what you do is just search up all of your keywords or your main keywords on Google, and then make a list of 20 businesses who are ranking below the 5th position. In other ways, they're not getting any leads, most likely. Okay, make a list of them, and then call them up. Say, hey, my site ranks first for plastic surgery in XYZ. A bunch of these plastic surgery keywords, and I get a ton of traffic and a ton of people calling my phone and emailing me. That said, I don't have a plastic surgery business, so I'm calling up all the businesses in the area, seeing who wants to take me up and who wants to get these leads for free. Because again, I don't have a business, so can I just send these leads over to you? And if you just say this stuff, it's a irrefusable offer. Who would not want to take in any leads, right? And this is more or less the script I used to use. In Portuguese, I just say, hey, I have this site ranking first, I get a ton of leads, but I have nowhere to send them. Can I send them your way? And it's like, they never said no, okay? They say, sure, this is interesting. Yeah, sure, tell me a bit more about it. And then you start the conversation. But the very first hook is a irrefusable offer, right? Because you're already ranked first, you're already getting all this traffic, and you have all these leads. So, I mean, and the fact that you're saying, hey, I'm calling up all the businesses in the area to see who wants to take these leads in. They know the competitors exist, and they don't want you to call up their competitors and send them the leads. They want to get the leads themselves. So this is a bit of a little thing you can use as well. And that's how you get the foot in the door. That's how you start conversations. Now, I used to then go in and meet them in real life, because I think it's important that if you can, to go meet the people, sit down with them, explain what you do, how you can create a partnership. That's what I used to do. You don't need to do it. You can just speak over the phone or email, but I used to sit down with them, and this is basically it. Don't overcomplicate this. It's super simple. Just call them up. Volume. Most of them are not going to pick up. Some of them are going to say no. A lot of them are going to say fuck off. A very few of them are going to say maybe. Some of them are going to say yes and then not do it. And a small minority are going to say yes and then actually do it. Okay, so it's going to take some work. Okay, because these businesses get blasted every single day with offers. Now, the good thing about this is that it is sort of an irrefusable offer, because your site is already ranking, ideally getting leads and calls, and so it's easier for them to take this offer. Now, the WordPress plugin, you saw it before I worked, so I won't go over this again. Now, this is basically the intro of what is Rank and Rent, how much money you can make, how much money I made, how to get clients. It's pretty straightforward. Don't overcomplicate this. Don't think you need some weird strategy. Don't get too caught up in the weeds, right? Just do it. Just go forward with it. Just take some action, right? And if you don't know which path to take, either ask it in the comments or just take one. If you have two paths, okay, don't just stand right here forever. Just take one. This one doesn't work, well, then go to the other. Go back and go to the other, okay? And so now the interesting part, and you might notice that I'm in a different scenario. It's because I recorded the whole thing, and the file got corrupted. So doesn't matter. Let's just get going. How to do the actual rank and rent in a couple of steps. Now, the very first one, and it's because Rank and Rent is mostly associated with local SEO, right, is to not neglect Google Maps, okay? And I have this video right here. I'll leave it in the description. It's a 2-hour, 14-minute local SEO course. And this, in essence, goes over anything and everything you need to do and know about how to rank your site and listing in Google Maps, okay? Now, the thing is that because you're doing rank and rent, right, your listing is going to be fake. So if I go here to, for example, Plumber Dallas, okay, again, that course teaches you how to position your listing right here, okay, because, I mean, for local business, this is where you're going to get a lot of your leads from. This, and of course, the classic search, but a lot of them will come from the listings, okay, Google Maps, right? And so it's key, right? For a proper, I mean, if you want to get more leads, you can neglect this if you like, but to get more leads in, you got to do this, okay? And that video teaches you how. Again, I'll link it in the description. But point being is, if you have a rank and rent business, it's fake, right? Because again, you have the site, right? The site links to and sends the leads to a real business, right? But this site is not associated necessarily with business. I mean, if you do the overlay, yes, right? But if you don't do the overlay, right, the site isn't really a business. But regardless if you do the overlay or not, right, if you want to create a listing right here, a local business listing, right, you have to provide a site. Now, there's not an issue with providing a site that doesn't really associate the listing with a real business, right? There's not an issue with that. Still, to verify your listing, you're going to have to do a postcard verification. So Google will send you a physical postcard to your business location, right, to prove that this is a real business location. Now, people have a bunch of black hat strategies for this, to send postcards to like these fake houses, or to send postcards to their grandmother's house, etc. I mean, you can do all this stuff. Way back when I did this, right, I associated some of my friends or family houses with the business. So the address that was right here, right, the address wasn't really the address of the business, right? It was the address of this random place that had nothing to do with the plastic surgeon or with the clinic or the plumber, right? But honestly, people don't really care, right? People don't really go here and see and check, okay, where is this located at? Let me just click this. Is this a real business or like a house? Okay, people don't really see this. People just go here and say, okay, this looks good. Let me read the reviews, go to the site, or call up the business. That's all they do. They don't triple check. Now, sometimes, like maybe 1 in 1,000, they will go into the actual place and like knock on the door, but most people won't do that, okay? So all this to say that, yes, you need to set up Google Maps and work on your Google Maps SEO, which again, that course teaches you how to do. But don't be afraid. Don't think. Don't overthink stuff. As always, don't overthink stuff. Again, it's not ideal. Not ideal that you're going to be creating a fake GMB, right, or GBP. It's not ideal, but it's part of the process. Okay. I'll leave it at that. Again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll answer them in the comments. Okay. But don't neglect Google Maps if you want those extra leads. Second thing is register an EMD. Okay. An EMD stands for exact match domain. Here's a couple of examples. You can just do the easiest one is niche+city.com. So plumbernyc.com or rhinoplasty.com. Now, of course, these are most likely already registered because this is a super valuable domain, right? But you can like be a bit creative. Rhinoplasty-Dallas, for example, or the Rhinoplasty Dallas, right? Again, if you go for something like this, brothersplumber.co, you're creating a brand, okay, which is not necessarily bad, but for rank and rent, where the goal is to rank fast, having an exact match domain helps you rank faster, because SEO is all about, not all about, but some of it is about sprinkling in your keywords in as many places as you can, be it the domain, right? Be it the meta title, the meta descriptions, right? Be it the business name. All of these people right here, I can assure you that these guys, their official business name isn't this, right? Doesn't include this. It's most likely just this right here. Though what a lot of people do to sort of game the system and have yet another place where they sprinkle in their keywords to have it rank higher is to put the business name / exact match keyword, right? Dallas Emergency Plumbers. And this is sort of against Google Terms of Service, and it's a risk you take. And again, I go over that in the course because people can report you and all that. But yeah, everyone does it, okay? These guys don't. These guys don't really do it, but just know that going back here to the exact match domain, having an exact match domain, having your GBP listing where it has the business name dash or the brand name, I guess, dash the exact match keyword. And honestly, if you're going to use an EMD, an exact match domain, right, your business name will be your exact match domain name. So it's best of both worlds. Again, just a point of making it easier on you when you're getting started to rank faster is by doing this. Exact match domains still work regardless of what people say out there. They don't work. It is easier to rank an exact match domain than a non-exact match domain. Okay. Now, some of the downsides would be that it's kind of tacky, it's kind of weird. It's hard to convey a lot of trust from an EMD than it is from a classic business brand name. That said, as I said before, people just don't really read this stuff. They click, they go to the site looks good. They don't even look at the domain, right? They just see site looks good, and they just call up the business or send an inquiry. Okay, so don't worry too much about this. It doesn't really matter. Don't get too stuck in the weeds. Our goal is just to rank. Okay, that's it. Again, two very, very important steps. This one very important, and this one important as well to get things done faster. Now, the third step is to use the WordPress plugin that I showed you before to automate the overlay. Okay. Again, this is a nice to have in case you want to overlay. You don't necessarily need to overlay. You can just have the phone number on your site. So the site looks like your site and has your phone number there that when people call them, it redirects to the other guy's phone. So it's not necessarily, but I do recommend it because, I don't recommend it necessarily. I'd say test it out. Test to see which one has the highest conversion rates. There you go. Okay. Whether that be for converting the people you want to rent your site to or the actual customers going to the site. Okay. Because the overlay plugin is a great way, is a great sales tactic to sell people or businesses to pay you to rent out the pages. Okay. Now let's get into the meat of it. Step 4, keyword research. And if you've watched this channel before, and if you know anything about SEO, this right here is key, right? It's in the name, right? Before anything else, right, is keyword research. In fact, I would say there's even a step right here before, which is your ICP, right? Your ideal client profile, okay? Nailing down who your clients are will allow you to generate the keywords that these clients could potentially be searching for on Google. So let's keep with the same example of plastic surgery, right? Let's say we want to focus on a specific sub-niche within the plastic surgery niche, which is mommy makeover. So let's just do mommy makeover surgery, which is basically what some women do after having a child, which is tucking up the belly and putting up the breasts up. Again, if you ask me how I know all this, is because I worked in this niche for a long time. Again, it's very popular, okay? And so the ICP would be, of course, women. I would say 25 or 30 plus years old, right? And yeah, this is dialed out of this, okay? And so we know that this is our ICP. Women who recently had a baby or two, whatever, and they're between this age, or at least this age, right? And so, okay, now let's put ourselves in their shoes. What could these people be searching for on Google, right? Of course, they could be searching for the exact match keyword, so mommy makeover surgery, right? But this is maybe a bit too competitive, right? Or even too broad, because people searching for this might not necessarily want to do the surgery, might just be interested in seeing what it is, okay? So something else you could be a bit more bottom of the funnel is mommy makeover surgery price, okay? So most likely someone looking at the price is interested in doing one, okay? Something else could be plastic surgery clinics for... Right, there you go. You get the point right here. The point is we shouldn't necessarily focus on traffic, right? Let's assume these long tail keyword has 10 people a month searching for it, which is not much. Let's say this one has like maybe 50, I don't know, right? Doesn't really matter, right? It might seem small, but the goal isn't to get traffic. Traffic is a vanity metric, right? Just because you have 1 billion people accessing your site every month doesn't mean, right, there's no correlation between that and making more money, right? It's not about the traffic. It's about the intent of the traffic. It's about going for high buying intent keywords. And I've talked about this before, but if we draw a matrix where in the y-axis we have the buying intent, so the intent behind the purchase of the keyword, right? And in the x-axis we have traffic, which usually for a certain keyword, the higher the traffic that keyword has, the higher the competition, okay? Buying intent right here. Again, I'll give you an example before I go with this. So let's say I have an iPhone repair shop, okay? I repair iPhones, but people, before they come into my shop, they come into my site. So this is my website, right? People come in and they can come in for searching for keywords like how to repair an iPhone, but they can also come in for searching for keywords like where to repair an iPhone or how much does it cost to repair an iPhone. Now, we could say that the keyword how has 10,000 searches a month, but the sum of the volume of these two keywords, where or how much, has only 1,000, right? That being said, if you were just to look at the traffic, we'd go for the wrong keyword, because someone searching for how, most likely they want to do it themselves, right? While someone searching for where or how much, well, most likely they want to pay someone to do it for them, right? So it's not about the traffic. Traffic can be a vanity metric. It's about the buying intent behind said search query. Okay, now, of course, it's not to say that you can't convert these people. Of course, you can convert some of the people searching for how. Let's say, for example, you rank like this amazing 10-step guide on how to fix your iPhone. Step 1 with a video, with a couple like proper amazing guide. And at the end you say, hey, listen, you can do it yourself, or you can just come into our store and we'll do it for you, right? Maybe you can convert some of these people because they'll try it and say, it's too complicated, too dangerous, I don't want to mess it up. I'll just come into your store and do it and have you do it for me. So yes, you can convert some of these people, right? But it's much more of a competitive keyword and much more of a long conversion journey, right? Where these ones, because they have less traffic, right, they're less competitive, meaning easier to rank for, and the conversion journey is much shorter, right? Because they're actively looking to buy something. I mean, the highest buying intent keyword is buy something online, of course. Now, going back to this again, to the keyword matrix, where again, buying intent in the y-axis, traffic competition in the x-axis, when you have all your keywords, right, a list of your keywords, right, you just sprinkle them here, right? Just sprinkle them here according to what their stats, I guess, and you don't go for keywords here nor here. Why? Because these two quadrants mean low buying intent. This is the worst one, low buying intent, high traffic. Not only is it hard to rank for these keywords, but if you rank for them, most likely you'll make $0 off of them, right? You should go for this one and this one. These two quadrants have high buying intent, meaning people searching for it are likely to buy whatever it is you're selling. Okay, so this is the exercise I make when going for keywords. It's going for intent, in specific buying intent, not necessarily search traffic. And you can use tools like Ahrefs. Ahrefs is great for this. I mean, Ahrefs is paid though. Let's just do, for example, mommy makeover surgery. There you go. This is set to Portugal. Let's do United States. And by the way, I mean, you can do this in so many languages. I won't even touch upon the international non-English speaking SEO. I've talked about this many times. It is insane how untapped the non-English speaking markets are in terms of SEO, right? Because more people don't speak English than the ones who do speak English. So there's a lot of untapped markets to capture traffic from non-English speaking customers. It is insane. It is way less competitive and there's a lot of money to be made there. Regardless, we can speak about that another time. I think I made a video on that. I'll link it below in the description because it is just insane. In fact, quick plug right here. I'll even do a quick plug to a case study of a guy who uses this is our software, by the way, Arvow. He's a French guy. He owns a French marketing agency. I think, yeah, it's this one right here, where he took a bunch of YouTube videos. Okay, he took a bunch of YouTube videos. They were in English. Okay, in English. He took them. He converted them into blog posts in French. So he converted the medium of consumption from video to written format and from English to French. And he was able to gather almost 6,000 in monthly organic search traffic just off of this. This is, by the way, using one of these features right here, video to blog post, which converts videos into blog posts. Now, he converted the medium. He converted the video to written. You don't even need to convert the medium. I'll go here on YouTube real quick to show you a video that I made a while back that goes over this guy right here.
Who took that traffic from
literal zero to from Norway. 100% of his traffic comes from Norway, right? 0 to 4,000 a month in no time. All these are based AI-based posts, so all the content is AI-based. Again, I'll leave a link for this as well in the description. Point being is to show that if he were to rank for these keywords in the English-speaking market, he wouldn't even get close to those 4K, 3K, right? Again, of course, the English-based market has more money, right? But in terms of ratio, effort, or ROI to effort, it's very high if you target non-English speaking markets. But again, this could be a video in itself. We'll talk about that another time. Going back here, You can use RGRs for keyword research. I mean, this is great to find commonly asked questions, to produce content for, terms, how much it costs, location. Again, I have a great other keywords. Someone looking for surgery name in location. Most likely is looking to do one. Let's see here what else we have. I mean, you get the point. Near me, let's see, what else? Is it safe? Before and afters? How long does it take? Again, all keywords people searching for are most likely want to do one. But again, you can also use Google Keyword Planner. Google has this Google Keyword Planner, which is a free tool, by the way, from Google to use and find keywords in their volumes. Or if you just search for something around here, you scroll down, Google gives you another terms people also search for. So there's free ways to do any of this. You don't need to use paid tools. Even Arvow, which is, again, my software, which people use to see all the case studies you saw before, anything this does, you can do manually. Okay, this isn't magic. Arvow is not a magic software. Anything this does right here, a human can do. This just saves you a ton of time because it does it all for you automatically, which is pretty cool. In fact, I mean, since we're here, again, you can skip this part if you want. Here's the best example I can show you of how AI is utilized in this, just to save you a bunch of time. This site optimizer, just click here to add your site, right? Add your site, add your language, add how many pages you want it to crawl. And what it does is it analyzes, in this case, 50 pages on my site, right? And it analyzed my technical SEO. It analyzed my page titles, my meta descriptions, my canonical URLs, my image alt text, my internal links, my schema, which we'll talk in a bit. I think you've talked about already. And it basically gives me recommendations. For example, it says my page title for this right here, for let's see, for my Shopify page, let's just open it right here, arvow.com/Shopify, which is a simple page, right? Just a page of the integration, okay? Pretty straightforward. If you were a local business, this would be like a service page or a location page. If you were a e-commerce store, this would be your product page. We're a software, that's why it's this right here. It's a feature page. But it said, hey, listen, this is your current page title. We recommend you change it to this. And here's why. So it gives you the reasoning as to why it thinks you change it from this to this. And if you just hit apply, right, the AI will jump onto your site, right, change your meta title just like that without even you having to log in to change it. And it does this, I mean, you can apply or discard certain changes based on what you agree or disagree, and the AI will learn for future recommendations. Same thing for meta descriptions, canonical URLs, even image alt text, which I can assure you, by the way, if you try this now, you'll have a bunch of images with alt text, okay? Internal links, it's pretty cool, right? Again, all of this humans can do, but let's say you have a bunch of pages on your site, a bunch of them, okay? Your homepage, right? Your blog page 1, blog post 2, your services page, your product page, your location page, your about, I mean, all these pages, about us page, right? It is very important for SEO purposes that there's a proper internal linking structure between all these pages in a way that makes sense. Now, it is very painful to, okay, I don't know if you figure out what all the pages on my site are. Let me go through all of them and then let me see, okay, which ones should I be interlinking to? And then what would be the anchor text that I would need to use, the little text you click in to go with a link for each page? And then actually logging into your CMS, WordPress, Shopify, Wix, whatever, to do all those changes. It takes a lot of time. What this does is it automates the whole process. For example, right here is suggesting we link this page to this one using this anchor text, and here's why. And then if you apply, the AI will jump in, add the link, boom, there you go. So again, all this does, you can do manually. It just saves you a bunch of time, okay? This schema as well, FAQ schema, I mean, if you saw before, let me show you a perfect example of schema. Schema is this little snippet of code you can add to your site that gives you extra things, I guess, in these search engine ranking pages. For example, this right here, these little star ratings right here, these are done with schema markup in specific. And these little things, sometimes you have pictures right here. I'm sure you saw like some image right here. This is done with schema, okay? Schema markup, again, I'll leave a link for a video that talks about this down below in the description, okay? It's all gonna be tagged so you know which videos are that I'm mentioning. This is very important because this not only gives you more pixels, okay, so more chances of eyeballs seeing it, but also, I mean, it is a pretty unique thing that not most of these results have, so your eyes are drawn to this, even the ones with images, right? This is done with schema. Start product schema or starting schema, image-based schema, local business schema. There's all these schemas. For example, can dogs eat strawberries, right? This right here, which again is a big section, the sites who show up here for a reason, because they have FAQ schema, right, on their pages, okay? Most of them. So it's very important as well. But again, going back here, a bit of a detour, going back to your research, again, you can use paid tools or free tools. Just make sure that you follow this this thought process. Again, my whole goal is to teach you my thought process, from the ICP to the keyword finding to why we find certain keywords, why we don't focus on search volume and we focus on intent. Okay, that's basically it. And I mean, to know and to find keywords, yeah, you can use tools, but I think the best way is to think of yourself and put yourself in your customer's shoes and think, okay, what would I be searching for if I had this pain and need? What would I be searching for on Google? And then you can use tools to validate your thesis. Now, number 5. And actually, before number 5, let me just go over something which I think is very important, because when you talk about SEO, right, we have to talk about the 3 main pillars of SEO, which are the on-page SEO, right, everything that happens on your site, off-page SEO, which is everything that happens off your site, and then technical SEO, which is the boring stuff. I guess we'll start with technical SEO, which is what this little thing helps you do, right? The page titles, the meta description, meta title, because, I mean, if we go here, to use the same example, Alice Plumber, right? It is very important to choose a proper meta title and a proper meta description for 2 reasons. First, for SEO purposes, in the sense that you need to sprinkle your keywords onto your meta title and onto your meta description, and then for CTR purposes, click-through rate purposes, okay? Because it has to be a non-boring title and to the point, right? This one is much more clickable. I'll even argue that this one has a higher ISDR because it's easier to read. There's no fluff. It's pretty straightforward. Let me show you. This one is a bad example, right? It is too long. The medium recommendation is only 60 characters, because if you write more, well, you get this. And so anything you write after that, it's pointless, right? No need to. And it's just too long, right? It's too long, right? This one, I don't think it makes much sense. It's just a waste of time. Why is the word home written here? Doesn't make any sense. It's not enticing enough. This one is great. Voted the best plumbers in Dallas. Great one. Okay, amazing, right? There's even some people who add their phone numbers like at the front, which could be a video even in and of itself, excuse me, because if you add your phone number right here, you could argue that people don't have the need to click. They just call up the number, so you get less CTR, so you get ranked a bit down. I mean, yeah, there you go, right? But point being is that these need to be optimized. This is not a good idea. These need to be optimized both for SEO, excuse me, so sprinkling in your main keywords in the title and the description, and also for CTR, okay? And by the way, something else that helps with CTR is schema, right? The little star ratings, the images that sometimes appear here, and there you go. This is sponsored, but you can do this without being sponsored. The images, all this stuff, okay, it does help with CTR, okay? So that's technical SEO, all this stuff right here, internal linking structures, image alt text, all this stuff, all the boring stuff. And also, of course, for example, site speed. You can be ranking first, but if your site takes like 10 seconds to load, well, people click it, and then they're just going to click off because, I mean, who wants to wait 10 seconds? And this will eventually impact you later down the line, because Google sees that you're ranking first, right? People are clicking your site, going to it, but then going back, bouncing, right? Eventually you're going to drop off, and these guys are going to outrank you. So all this is the boring stuff of SEO, technical SEO. Then we have off-page SEO, which is basically building backlinks, so link building. And I'll leave a link as well for a free, 100% free course. I'll just show you what video it is. It's quite simple. Just go to my channel, Vasco's SEO tips. Just type in backlinks, okay? And it's this video right here, okay? There you go. It's just basically teaches you every single thing I know that you need to know about how to build backlinks, step by step, without hiding a single thing. Off-page SEO is basically that. It's basically building backlinks. And that course teaches you how many backlinks to build, which ones to build, what's a good backlink, what's a bad backlink, anchor text rotations, all this stuff, okay? And then finally on-page SEO, which is everything that happens on your site. How you write things, what you write, etc. Everything that happens on the site, which is related with step number 5, excuse me, which is now we've done all this stuff. Preparing for this, we've done the keyword research. Now it's time to produce content, right? SEO is content marketing, right? We have to make sure that Google knows, okay, these guys, this domain is relevant for these keywords because they pump out content about these keywords. And that's where blog posts come in. Now, don't think about blog posts as an outdated strategy. A blog post doesn't necessarily need to be the classic boring blog post. Not at all, right? It can be something that's of pure value. Okay, and so I'll go over that in a bit, right? But we have to produce blog posts or content, right, around the niche, right? Our whole goal is for Google to understand that our domain right here is the go-to, is the most relevant source for any info on, for example, plastic surgery in Dallas, right? We are the go-to guys for anything and everything related with mommy makeover, okay? And by the way, if you're doing for example, plastic surgery niche, I'd recommend you niche down a bit. So don't do plastic surgery Dallas, do breast augmentation Dallas, or do rhinoplasty Dallas, or do go a level down, because it's going to be easier, right? Because the specific keyword has less competition than the main keyword. So go a level down. If you're just getting started, I'd advise you to do that, because it's going to be easier. Okay, and then it's going to be easier because when you have a domain that's generic, like rhinoplasty, like plastic surgery, on that domain, you're going to have to cover all these different surgeries, right? So it's going to be harder for Google to put you in a box. If you just talk about rhinoplasty, right, then it's easier to become the authority in the niche for rhinoplasty than for these guys that talk about rhinoplasty, breast augmentation, mom makeover. So it's going to be easier and faster for you to do it than if you just started with the higher up niche. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so now how do you do this? Well, again, you can use AI or not. I recommend you use AI because it's just way faster. Just produce content, okay? Produce content. Again, you can use my software, and I'll show you how to use this, how we do it with this. But again, anything this does, again, I'll repeat, anything this does, you can do manually, okay? Everything. This is not a magic tool at all. It just saves you a ton of time. So I'll show you how we do it in this, but you can take this and do it manually, okay? Two things. First is the content, and then I want to talk about how you produce it and why you produce it. So it's basically looking at what the competition is doing and doing the same. Okay. So for example, this is all done with AI. Again, you can do this. Anyone can do this, right? This is for a dealership in Texas, for example. And if you're doing this blog post, I want you to follow this structure: quick intro, key takeaways, and then you start the content. In the content, make sure you have, of course, your keywords need to be sprinkled in the titles, the H2, right? All the dealership in Texas, right? And in the content itself, okay? Then add in-article images, add internal links to other pages on your site, add external links, linking out to external authoritative sources like Wikipedia. For example, if you're writing an article about finance, link out to Investopedia, Bloomberg, TechCrunch, all these authoritative publication in Google's eyes for finance-related topics, okay? Add bullets, tables, quotes, add in-article videos that add relevancy to your video. Again, this is all done with AI. The AI knew what the article was about, and all the images and even the videos, right, are relevant for this topic in specific. Okay, add videos, right, and then add an FAQ section down at the bottom. Okay, this is the classic blog post structure, which if you use Arvow and you do it with this, the output's going to be the standardized blog post, which is this, because it's the best for both rankings and user experience. Here's why. When I go into an article, let's say I don't have any of this, right? It is a pain in the butt to have to go through it and find where does this article actually talk about what I want to know? Does it not? Having a simple intro and a key takeaway section, tells me right off the bat, and by the way, a table of contents as well, which you can have at the left-hand side or at the top, gives the user the ability and improves their user experience, because they know, okay, do they talk about they do, okay, let's go. Right? It's much more friendly for the user. Also, by the way, add a featured image. Don't forget about this, okay? And if you're using this, by the way, and there's anything you don't like, you can just speak with it back and forth and say, I don't like the intro. It's too beginner friendly. Write it more tailored for existing audio owners, right? And you can, just as if you're using ChatGPT, right? You can speak back and forth with this and change things around. You can say, add an image of a dog, or add a link to Wikipedia on the third paragraph. I mean, you can do anything you want. Add a table comparing these two brands. Literally anything you want, you can do. You can speak back and forth with it, which I don't think you can do with GPT. Maybe you can, I'm not too sure. Again, I'm just showing you this, because if you're using AI, regardless if it's this or another one, right, you have the ability to speak back and forth, and you can, in this case, accept or decline to the article and change things around. Or you can just select things and say, add links, add keywords. So another way to sprinkle in more of your keywords here, rewrite things, make it simple, make it longer, make it short, custom AI prompts. Point being is that if you're using AI, regardless if it's this one or another one, right, don't just take the output of the AI as default, right? Read through it, see if it's good, and then iterate and change some things. Maybe it's a good way to add more keywords because it hasn't sprinkled in all the right keywords in. Maybe it's a good way to add a custom prompt. Maybe it's a good way to add a table, make it even more user-friendly. Maybe add an image. So don't just take the default AI prompt. Again, it could be the default AI prompt from GPT, Grok, Perplexity, Arvow, doesn't matter. Whichever you use, if you want to pay me or the other big corporations, doesn't really matter, or do it yourself, right? Revise what the output is, okay? Don't just blindly post AI-based. I mean, you can, it does work, and it even works better for non-English speaking niches. It's insane the amount of results we see with this. And by the way, they're all on the Arvow's website right here in the case studies tab. But yeah, again, going back here, the second thing is to, okay, how do I know what the type of content I should be producing? Well, the easiest way to know this is to Google it. So let's just say, for example, mommy makeover surgery, Texas, right? We have to see, okay, what type of content is Google ranking for these keywords? Okay, because this tells me, okay, Google wants to serve customers, right, these type of content. Right? Google thinks that these guys have the content that's on these sites satisfy the user search intent the best for this keyword in specific. And so we look at this. Okay, age 1 right here. I'm guessing this is an age 1. Let me see here. Age 1. Okay, this is an age 2. So there's no age 1 on this page, which is interesting. Okay, they should have an age 1. Maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see it right here, which is weird. It should be an age 1. This is ranking first, by the way. And then, excuse me, what content we have here? Okay, bit of paragraph. What keywords does it include? Okay, talks about the doctor. Okay, has a before and after right here. Is it for me? Request consultation, real patient, etc. What it is, right? A bunch of FAQs right here. A couple of links to other internal links to other searches are there. A couple of external links, I'm guessing. All right, a video. Okay, so point being here, what I'm doing here is I'm evaluating what is Google valuing for this keyword in specific. What does Google think it's the most relevant search result for people searching for this keyword? Well, it is this. And so when I'm producing content, right, whether I'm using Arvow or not, I want to emulate. I want to take this and make it better. Even, by the way, again, sorry to promote Arvow over and over again, but you can just go here. I think this is free, by the way, still. So you can just go here and say, editor, start from a link, boom, boom. And you can create a draft based off of an existing competitor's content. And then you can edit it if you want. You can add images. You can, again, speak with the AI assistant to say, hey, mention my brand. You put your brand, remove all mentions from the brand, and just copy this from the brand. Boom, right here. Okay. Etc. You get the point. You can speak back and forth with it. I mean, you can say, ask it to add more tables, add more images. Point being is you can take their existing content as a draft, because we are basing our content off of what Google is already valuing as the content it satisfies the user search intent the best. Hopefully all that made sense. Again, this is all what is cover, etc. Blah blah. This hasn't got okay, it has got a couple of content. You get the point, right? So look at what's ranking and try to emulate the content to make sure that we can provide and satisfy the search intent the best. Okay, that's in essence that's basically it. And again, don't overthink stuff. Okay, just start doing it. I know you have a bunch of questions in your mind, most likely. Don't just do it. Okay, and because as you do it, you're gonna find a lot of your questions are gonna be like, oh, okay, that question really didn't make much sense. So, but regardless, if you have any questions, just drop them down below, and I'll answer them. Excuse me. Even if this video was posted like a year ago, I'll still answer them. So don't be shy. Ask anything you want. Again, I'm here to help, because being fully transparent, the whole goal why I publish this stuff is to teach you every single thing I know about SEO, so that eventually you'll pay me to do it for you or use my software. It's basically it. So I have no interest in hiding anything from you or not answering your questions. Okay. Now, and by the way, quick tangent right here. When I say can be info, no issue, is because nowadays with LLMs, right, when you search, for example, for what is a mommy makeover surgery, right, most likely Google AI's overviews are going to answer this, or Google AI mode, or I can just drop this into ChatGPT, or let's just do Perplexity for now, and it's going to answer me real quick. I don't need to like open up a blog post. I mean, I can, because maybe it's a bit more convenient, has a video, has images, right? But I can just right here, just take it from here. Now, when I say there's no issue, is because these AI mode or the AI overviews, this is not the AI mode, it's the AI overview. The AI mode is something new that's only rolled out in the US and India, I think. AI mode is like basically Google's version of ChatGPT. It's basically ChatGPT embedded on Google. It's a little tab that shows up right here. And if you're in the US, you've already used it. Regardless, right? When I say there's no issue in producing info-based content for generic keywords, and I know I talked about producing content for bottom of the funnel, which is very important, but there's not necessarily an issue about producing top of the funnel ones, informational-based ones, because these are always going to link out to the sources, always. And then some people, right, are not even going to click it. But one could argue that the people that click it, are the people who want to know more, and are the people who are actually going to buy the product or service. Okay, right here, for example, these are all coming from well-known sources where people can go in and read more. And this could be your site, this could be your practice. So you only show up here in the AI search if you produce content. And I urge you to, again, going back here on YouTube, to watch this video right here, which goes over how to do LLM SEO, which basically tells you in a long manner that, and I'll link it in the description, it's this one right here, tells you, okay, to show up on these LLMs, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc., doesn't matter, you have to be producing content, because none of this is made up. This is all taken from multiple sources. Same thing with ChatGPT, same thing with Perplexity, and then they link out to the sources. So to show up here, you have to produce content to be cited. That's it. Okay. I'll recommend you watch this right here. It boils down, and this one as well, how to do LLM SEO, which is key nowadays. Okay. But by the way, if you're already doing the classic SEO, you'll be doing LLM SEO by default. Okay. Now, number 6. And I guess before number 6, maybe you have this question in mind. Your structure should look something like this, right? You have your homepage. Okay. Boom. Your homepage. Okay. Then you're gonna have your service page, services. You're gonna have your blog pages, which you're gonna have your basic content. There are a bunch of blog pages, a bunch of blog posts. Okay. You're gonna have your contacts page. Okay. You're gonna have your about us page. Again, it's gonna be a sort of a fake business, so it doesn't really matter too much. Just make it look real, and just follow the structure of a competitor you're trying to beat. Don't overthink this. Okay, look at a site in the same niche as you, right? See what pages they have and create the same pages. Okay, the same structure of the site, if that makes sense. Maybe a before and after section. Okay, this, of course, if you overlay someone else's site on top of yours, you won't necessarily need to do pages like this, because a before and after page section is more for customer experience than Google rankings. Okay. You still need the about us page regardless, and a contacts page, because even with the overlay, right, if you do an overlay, all this stuff will be hidden for people, not for Google. Okay, so you still need this stuff. But again, in terms of site structure, just copy what's working for other businesses in the similar niche as you. Okay, again, I'm trying to cover as many edge cases and questions you could possibly have. Still, if you have some, just please comment down below. I'll answer any questions, even if it's like 10 years later that I posted this video, I'll still be here. Okay. Now, number 6, and actually number 6, as well as number 7 and number 8. Okay, I've went through these 3 because this is almost an hour long subject. I went through these 3 in this video right here, which again I'll link below. It's 50 minutes. It goes over all these in depth. Now it is applied to software, but the principles are all the same. Okay, and please go watch this. Okay, again, this is applied to software, so. Again, this is applied to an SEO strategy for a software company, in specific Arvow, okay, this right here. That being said, the exact same principles will apply to local SEO, okay? So go watch that, okay? And then come here just to like see the small nuances. For example, in this case, the comparison pages would be for town and city. If you need ideas for comparison pages, ask GPT for ideas, okay? And this is a great one. I even think that in this video right here, I do give a local SEO example for this one. Again, what I'm saying right now probably isn't making much sense in your mind. So please go watch that, and then please come here and watch these 3. Again, key, 3 key steps that honestly will make you much more successful in this rank and rent endeavor. Okay, so that's almost all of it. From start to finish. Please do check all the resources in the description. This one, there's going to be a bunch more. Check them all, because this is a holistic strategy. It's part of it to watch multiple resources, but more importantly than watching is to take action. As cliche, as cringy as that sounds, the most important thing is to take action. Okay, just go out and do it. And now just to finish off, I'll leave a link for my free training that teaches you how to rank on Google and Bing, and I'll rank on LLMs, do on-page SEO, building backlinks, technical SEO, much more. A lot of in-depth training about this stuff, but more in-depth, and also gives you 12 months access to Arvow right here. You get 12 months full access to Arvow, all the features which I didn't went over all of them right here, but there's a bunch of cool stuff, which, by the way, again, not try to flex on you, right? It has gotten a bunch of insane results, which I'll update here the case studies tab when we do have a couple more. I need to actually write them down. There you go. There's a bunch of them here, and even the AI editor, which is insane that you saw, which not only allows you to write the content, but then you can edit it, using AI. So with the free training you watch, you get a bunch of value on how to rank on these search engines, how to do SEO, how to build back, all this stuff, plus 12 months access to Arvow, plus lifetime access to the Rank and Rent SEO plugin. So the overlay plugin, the one that you just saw in the beginning of the video, you get unlimited licenses, right? Just by watching it and going all the way through the end, right? You get the plugin, 12 months access to Arvow, and a bunch more training and cool stuff. So go watch. It's going to be the very first link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. And if you could do me a huge favor before you click that link, is comment the words Rank and Rent SEO. That will be amazing if you could do that, because YouTube, more than likes, more than subscriptions, right? The thing that YouTube values the most, is comments. And so if you could help me push this video out to more people, if you could comment the words Rank and Rent SEO as a thank you for almost these 2 hours, I think, of value for free, that'll be amazing. So Rank and Rent SEO, thank you so much. Please comment those words, and click the link, the very first link in the description, to get the free training and get access to the plugin plus 12 months access to the software. Once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.